Good afternoon, my name is Brian. I'm with Rush Creek Relic Hunter. I'm an avid metal detectorist. I like to get out where you don't run into a lot of people and look for relics and items that people have lost and dropped over the hundreds of years. And when I met the guys at Stamp Seed, started talking about my hobbies and what I like to do, we started chatting about how I can use my tools to hide the private key for people that are into Bitcoin. And I'm not an expert on the Bitcoin side. I've learned a lot about what's done and what's not done, and how people want to protect all their keywords. And this is a titanium plate that have 24 keywords stamped onto this titanium plate. And what I've learned about titanium, it doesn't break down, it doesn't fall apart, and you can stamp your keywords into the plate. And these are just examples, so you won't be able to go and enter these in and take these keywords, do anything with them, but I had them make me up 5 of these. And really my goal of doing this is really just to give ideas, suggestions to people that want to protect their keywords from anybody else getting access to them. And one of the ideas that I was thinking about and was informed about, that people do like to hide and secure these types of plates and not get those into the wrong hands of people that would steal or abuse your Bitcoin. So one of the things that I'm going to do today is I'm just going to show some ideas on how to bury these and how to potentially keep them secured. And what I mean by potentially, I can just throw out ideas. There's no right or wrong way in how you want to secure yours. Some people may say don't bury them, don't do this, don't do that, and that's fine. This is just another perspective from somebody who does metal detect, who does dig a lot of relics and trash out of the ground, and to give you some ideas on how you might secure them on your own private property. So I'll place it roughly between these 2 fence posts, roughly 10 feet out. And so from here, we're gonna go 1, 2, 3. For good measure, I'll go 4. So call that roughly 12 feet. And for right now, until I get my shovel, I'm just gonna stick a stick in the ground to know this is the spot that I'm gonna dig my hole. So I'm about roughly 12, 13 feet off the tree. If you wanna get really specific when you're done, you can measure it and be very specific if you'd like. But for the purpose of this exercise, I brought an old tobacco can, some fencing, and just a chunk of wire. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to bury this about 2 inches down. Somebody finds this, they go, oh cool, this is something from the 1930s or 40s, let's say. And then about 12 inches below that, I'm going to put this wire, definitely identifiable. And then I'll go about another 12 inches down, and I'm either going to bury this with the titanium plate, or I'll do it separate, because that will give a different signal when you're metal detecting. So let's start digging a hole. So again, knowing I'm going to go down, we'll say roughly between that 2 to 3 foot, I'm going to start there, and I'm going to dig this hole right here and see if I get lucky enough to be able to dig down 3 feet. And you can decide to dig a smaller hole, a larger hole, depending on your terrain, and maybe you have a garden you want to put it under. All right, so here's where I'm going to put the titanium plate. Just going to drop it in. Don't know if it's going to go flat or stand upright. Obviously, if you want to hide stuff a little bit more underground, if you put them on its side, you get a smaller signal coming across. For this exercise, I'm just going to drop it. I'm going to drop this on top, and then I'm going to fill it to about 12 inches. I'll pack it down, and then I'll come up to that roughly 2 inches below the surface, and and I'll put another piece of metal there, which will be that tobacco can. So here we go. Okay. All right, pretty packed down. All right, now I'm gonna drop, actually what I'm gonna do in this case is, being I'm about a foot up from where I was, I'm gonna throw this wire in there. So I'll have 3 different, call it levels, until I get to that plate. And if somebody digs this, more than likely, they're just gonna think they got a lot of trash. So I'm gonna lay that flat. And I'm gonna come up to about 2 inches. All right, so now I'm gonna put the tobacco tin in there. And I'm gonna kick the rest of the dirt on top. All right, it'll settle a little bit more, but not much. If you wanted to put a little dirt on there to let it settle as it gets rained on and stuff, you could mount it slightly, but I don't think it's needed. If you really want to get into it, you could brush the markings away and the boot prints. So it looks like nobody's ever been here, because out here there's holes all over the ground. So that is one example of how to secure your stamp seed plate. I'm gonna give you even a closer up look at it. So this is where it is, right under here, in reference to the tree. Tree's right there. Now let's just go over it for the heck of it, see what signals we can hear. I'm going to put it on all metal mode, which means it'll pick up anything, gold, silver, junk, aluminum cans, and see what I pick up. So right there I got a signal of a 75. It's jumping a little bit. Let's turn on the iron audible. Still clean, that means we've got some lead in that. Pretty much 77, 78. So that'd be a number that you could record somehow, you could track, or you just remember it if you don't want to write it down. So when I dig that, about 2 inches down, remove it. You know, if you're into metal detecting, you always check your holes. So you're going to hit it again, and you're going to then hear the metal wiring below, which is another 12 inches down. So next time when I dig it out, I'm going to dig it the tobacco tin first, and then remove it, and then I'll show you at that time if I pick up any signal at all. If I do, I'll do that, and I'll remove that, and then another 12 inches below will be the titanium plate and the other piece of wire I threw, and then see if I can pick up any signals. So yes, is there a chance that somebody could locate it? Sure. But out here I'm on 3,300 acres, and yes, there's a house here and a barn there, but later I'm going to do one out along a creek where, you know, got miles of creek. The odds of somebody ever settling on there and finding on this property is slim. I could go up over this butte and put it on the other side and probably put it on top of rock, and probably nobody'd ever find it, just being in the open. Of course you wouldn't want to do that. But anyways, You can pick your spot, you can pick whatever you're comfortable with. This is just an example and an idea of how to secure this. This thing could sit here for 200 years and nobody disturbed. Another thing to mention though, when I go out metal detecting, I look for big trees. People would hang around. This one's probably, I'm guessing, 150 years, maybe older. And so I always look for coins around trees. People gather, hang out, picnic, people drop stuff. So if you want something that's not as conspicuous, find a spot in an open field. You know, count 25 poles off of a fence if you don't think the fence is ever going to move, and 10 feet off this. You just have to get creative on what you're comfortable doing, and with your Bitcoin. And well, good luck on securing it. And on the next video, I will come back and dig up this one plus a couple others that I'll put in the ground today. All right, thank you. Hi, this is Brian with Rush Creek Relic Hunter. Back out here, November 2nd, going to be digging up the stamp seed plate and going to take the time to kind of show you just the reverse process of when I buried it a few weeks ago. Anyway, so what I'm going to do now is use my metal detector. It's a Vortex VX9, and we're going to identify the tobacco tin. And then from there, I'll probably just use my pinpointer to dig it back out because I know what's underneath it. Somebody else who's metal detecting may not, and they'll think they just have junk, garbage that they just dug. So to identify it, which I remember was off about 12 paces off the tree, right in this area here. So let's identify the location and recover the plate. All right, so there's our solid hit. And I know that's about 2 to 3 inches down. So now I'm just going to set my metal detector aside. I don't even probably need my shovel, so I'll use a pinpointer to do the digging. Dig that metal tobacco tin out, and I'm just going to use the pinpointer. Ground's still pretty soft. All right, so we got the tobacco tin here, and we know that the plate itself is down about another 12 inches. All right, and here we're able to recover our stamp seed plate that I buried before. So this gives you an idea how you can choose to hide your stamp seed and your seed words that are on your plate. And as I said before, this is a fake one that I had them make for me. But as you can see where I'm at out here, I have a lot of places that I could hide this. You just have to know where you place your plate so you don't forget, and make sure you can recover it in any way that you choose to. All right, well, if you have any questions, you know who to contact at the company. And again, good luck with deciding how you want to bury your plate on your property or another place that you feel secure. Have a good day.